This one is good? Okay. Are we live streaming? We're good? Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much for coming, and thank you to anyone that is online. I will not hold you long today. Thank you. I just want to go over a couple things. So there are a few people who are interested. So this flyer is a little bit different than the last PowerPoint that I did present. So I do want to go back over some of the same information which relates to the cost of the trip, and then we're going to move forward to the big part right now that people are focusing on are the flights from here to New York and the potential hotel stay. So I'm going to just get started. If you guys have any questions, stop me. Can you hear me even though I'm wearing the mask? Are we good? Okay, perfect. So again, the cost, the trip is from Monday, February 27th through Thursday, March 9th. The cost is $36.98, and that is for double occupancy. That is the cost per person. That includes round-trip airfare from New York to Israel and back, includes 9 nights of hotel accommodation, breakfast and dinner, 7.5 days of sightseeing, 1 free day of shopping. We will have a guide, we will have whispers, and includes all your interest fees. We are dealing with 2 travel agents. You guys have heard me mention Tony. That's our travel agent in New York. And then when we get to New York, you guys will hear me say Sammy, because that is our travel agent in Israel. If you want to do a single supplement, there's an additional cost of $1,048. What is not included, and you would have seen this amount in your balance sheets that I gave you guys out last time, $102 for airport security taxes, an additional $110 for tips that will go to the guides, the drivers, and the hotel personnel. For breakfast and lunch, we're each assigned certain servers, so you guys don't have to worry about tipping them individually, because we would have taken that tip in advance, and it will go to those servers at the hotel. Your lunches are not included. Its average is about $20 US a day. Your airfare to New York is not covered, and travelers insurance. So far, everyone on the trip thus far, you have secured your travel insurance, but for anyone who is new, it's $265 in addition to the cost, but that gives you $4,000 of insurance. That traveler's insurance will protect you in the event of cancellation for a pre-existing condition or for COVID. Now, it won't help you if you have to cancel for work or something, but for COVID, which is a huge concern, in addition, it provides you with coverage should you have to cancel for COVID, or unfortunately, if you were to get COVID while we're in Israel. It will cover all your medical expenses, it will cover your hotel stay if you end up having to stay longer or anything like that. So $500 secures your seat. All final payments are due on or before January 5th of 2023, but you can pay at any time, and most of you have been paying along the way. That's not me, is it? No, that's not my fault. The airport tax is also due with that final payment to TriStar Tours. And unfortunately, credit cards are not accepted. He only takes cash, which is by check or money order or cashier's check. So right now, Tony secured 40 seats. And when I say 40 seats, that means how many seats on the flight from New York on LL to Israel. We have 30 of those seats secured, so there's 10 remaining seats. So if you guys know of anyone who is interested, you need to let me know, because we only have 10 available seats. After that, I'll do a wait list, and we'll see what Tony can do to secure additional seats, but there's just no guarantee. But the $500 secures your seat. So the flight to Tel Aviv, right? So we will depart JFK. There are 3 terminals in and around New York, right? So somebody is really trying to get in touch with this person. I don't know. She was, what's her name, was sitting here. Cynthia. Yeah, she's probably calling it, looking for it. Um, so, yes.
I just wanted to ask a question concerning the airport tax and the $110. Is that due on before January the 5th as well, or when do we actually have that? Because someone was talking about everything was 265 and our basic 500 deposit.
Yep.
I just want to know about the 110. I mean the 110 and the 102.
So the 102 is going to be due with your final payment to TriStar Tours. The 110 will be due at the end of January. That check is going to be made payable. That's the only check that's made payable to the church, because that's cash that I will be taking. So if you want to give me cash, you can give me $110 in cash. You can make a check to the church. They'll cash it, because we're going to take that money in cash with us. I will be responsible. I will write out all the envelopes. Each hotel has a head waiter, maitre d'. So at the end of each night, I have my little envelope and I hand over the envelope. It's like $1.50 per night, per person. And so I hand that over. So that amount is due to the church the end of January. Does that make sense?
Two separate checks. The 102 is the TriStar and the 110 is the unit.
Exactly. You can put that 102 in your final payment, because that's going to TriStar to go into the escrow account. And then he will then pay the airport tax separate when he pays our airline fee. So you don't have to write the 102 as a separate check. It can still go into your final payment. Good question. Does that make sense? Okay. So there are 3 airports in and around New York. There's New Jersey, there's JFK, there's Newark, JFK, and LaGuardia. We are flying into JFK. JFK, JFK, JFK. If you look at the map, it looks like Newark and LaGuardia are close. It's about an hour and 20 minutes on a shuttle. And to go like 15 miles or something, it's ridiculous. It is not easy. So if we're flying into JFK, I would encourage you to fly into and out of JFK. So I'm going to talk about the LL portion right now, and then I'll get to the New York portion. So the important thing you need to know about LL is that our flight leaves at 5. We have to check into that gate at 2 p.m. And that means everybody as a group. The one thing you will know when we are in Israel, from the time we check in at LL at 2 o'clock until we come back, we pretty much during the day, we move as one. We move as a group. We are one big person. So we can't check in until everybody's present. And we don't get on the bus until everybody's present. So a person who is notoriously late, my family says the only thing I will be on time for is my funeral. That's it. Because I don't have any control over that, right? That's the only thing I will be on time for. When I'm in Israel, I am on time, because I'm holding up other people. We can't get started, we can't move, we can't do anything. Thank you, Caitlin. Until everybody is together as one. So we really do roll. Now in the evening, we can do whatever we want to do in the evening. But from the time we leave in the morning until the time we come back into the hotel, we're one group, and we have to move together as one. So it's very important that you arrive at that airport on time. Caitlin took it out. I think she was trying to answer it because maybe the person is looking for it. Yes, Yep, there she is. All right, so I talked about this upgrade opportunity when we were last together. And what is this upgrade opportunity? This upgrade opportunity moves you from from economy to premium economy. you're in a bigger seat, smaller cabin, there is a significant cost that comes with that upgrade, right? So I think I told most of y'all I upgraded on the way back, and it was, literally felt like I was sleeping in the bed. The seats are much wider, you can recline them all the way back. On average, it's about $500 each way. We are trying to get some now, to upgrade now at some savings, about $670, $700. Not a significant savings, $1,000, but you know, $300 is $300. So what I'm gonna ask you to do when you leave here, I have a sheet of paper. If you're interested in an upgrade, you need to let me know, because I need to let LL know. They only have it's just based on availability, what they have available.
So the upgrade is $500 additional to the cost of the flight?
$500 each way. So it could potentially be $1,000. You don't have to do it both ways. I didn't do it going. Yeah, I didn't do it. Yes, the longer trip, the LL part of it, the 10-hour trip. I did not do it going, but I was blessed, and I just asked on the way back. There were several, because I told everybody, ask on the way back. I asked, and they had it, and I took it. I grabbed that seat. On the way back, it cost me $410, I think, on the way back. So I only did it one way. So you don't have to, because you're going to be tired on the way back. So if you want to do it one way, you just need to let me know if you're interested. So the one thing I will tell you, when I say we move as one, we move as one, with the exception of when we leave out. On the way back from Israel to New York, they will call us individually up to the gate. As we are together as one, but they call us up individually, similar to what you would do if you travel by yourself. At that time, you can say, which is what I said, y'all got any available seats? They were like, yeah. So my sister was with me, my brother-in-law, and his mom. And when they said they had seats, so I ran, I told Pastor Warfield, I said, they got seats. So he got seats, First Lady Warfield got a seat. I told my sister and her husband and his mom, and they were like, I'm not paying that money. I was like, okay, I'm gonna upgrade. So I upgraded by myself. My crew didn't upgrade with me. So don't feel bad if you leave your crew. But there's that opportunity. But I need to have a list so we can let Tony know if anyone is interested in that opportunity. There is a significant cost. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not something you have to do by any stretch of the imagination. As I said, I only upgraded one way. So I just need a list, though. All right. I'm going to talk to him about it, that if we have enough interest, he may be able, he's working now to try to see if he can get me some seats that we can purchase now, or he can at least hold them. So let me tell you the two things I'm working on. If he can do it at a reduced price and hold those seats, that payment will probably be due in November, just for that seat, right, before your final payment. If he can't, then it's going to be on the fly when we get there, and you'll just have to pay at the gate. You can just, and LL will take a credit card. I don't know. They have some issue with the Amex. Like, my Amex didn't go through, and I'm just like, there's nothing on this American Express. I don't know why it's not working. So have a backup. If you travel with your Amex, I usually travel with my Amex. It's a good card to travel with. I'm really glad I had a backup card because I just whipped out the Visa and it was fine. And she said their system has a glitch with Amex. She couldn't explain it. So just be mindful of that. Okay, so this is what everybody wants to talk about. You guys have been seeing my emails back and forth about these flights to New York. So I'm gonna tell you, we went last time, 50 people. I was in the back of the church just booking people on my phone. It really was no problem. We are in a new day, in a new era post-COVID. And it's challenging. It's challenging. The rates are fluctuating in a way that you cannot even imagine. We're on top of the holidays, so I think that's pushing the rates, but we're looking at the gas prices. They are paying $8 for gas in California. So we're looking at the gas prices. We're looking at the pilot shortage. We're looking at the reduction in flights. There's even a significant delay for when we come back. If you look at Delta, they have a 7 a.m. flight, then their next flight is that 12:50 flight. Usually they have a 10 o'clock flight in there. It's not there because they don't have anybody to fly the planes. So we're looking at challenges that we haven't faced before in booking to go to New York. When you see my email, I do email for a reason. When I sent that email, several of y'all jumped on those flights. I have booked my flight. Several people have booked their flights from that first email I sent out when I got that notification from Hopper that said, book now. If Hopper tells me to book, I book. So I immediately blasted out that email. Several of y'all called me, and I booked people on flights. Those flights have gone up exponentially since I sent that email. And I think that was just, 3 weeks ago maybe? And the flights have gone up. So I will continue to watch the flights. I will continue to watch them on Hopper. I encourage y'all to do the same. The problem is there are only 2 airlines that fly into JFK. Everybody else flies into LaGuardia, or what's the other one? I just said it. Newark, thank you. So the problem is not only are we facing all of these unanticipated issues, we're limited by the airlines that we can even utilize. So that adds to the issue, right? So if you go on and you look, yes.
I just wanted you to identify the 2 airlines.
Yep. If you turn to, I should have numbered the pages, I'm so sorry. So I am on the slide that says Flight to New York. And the 2 airlines are American Airlines and Delta. So American is also JetBlue. So you will see JetBlue and you will see American. I realize these are the exact same flights. And I don't know who purchased whom, if they're in partnership, I'm not sure. I've never flown a JetBlue flight, I'll be honest. I've done American, I'm a Delta girl, it's just what I do. But everybody has their preference, right? So it's American Airlines and it is Delta. Those, and JetBlue, but JetBlue as American Airlines. You can book through JetBlue, you can book through American Airlines, your preference, based upon various things, right? So if you're a traveler, right, you have your points, you have your Sky Miles account, you have your American Airlines account, you have your JetBlue account, so you have your preference. I book with Delta because I am a Sky Miles member, and that's what I want. I want my points, I want my everything, right? My bags are free, so it's all about what works for you. So I only book through Delta, even if it costs me a little more on the front end, because I'm saving with my bags, right? My daughter is going with me, so that's what? It's $30 a bag, so it's $120, right? 60, that's 120, right? Okay, good. So that's $120 worth of savings. And fortunately, I also had a credit, so I was able to use the credit. So if you have credits because you canceled travel during COVID, people have airline credits, any way that you can use to bring your cost of your flight down, I encourage you to do that. So, anybody flown recently and had a cancellation? Which is why we're encouraging you. Sister Murphy had the same thing happen, right? And you have no control over it. They blast it out, your flight is canceled. And it's usually the night before your flight, and your heart sinks, and you're like, oh Lord, what do I do? If you book with a third-party air company, Google, Hopper, I don't know, Expedia, right? Travelocity, you're at the mercy of those third-party companies. So if you're at the Detroit Metropolitan Airport, your flight is canceled, you go to the Delta desk, you go to the American Airlines desk, you go to JetBlue, they're gonna say, sorry, we can't help you. You're on your own. You need to then deal with the customer service for Travelocity, Google, Hopper, whomever you booked with. I know JetBlue has no live people. I've been reading it online. You just get like a customer service recording. And so you're at their mercy versus Delta will book you. They got us on another flight. It's their job. They canceled your flight because you booked directly with the airline. These are all suggestions. I can only tell you what I know. If you want to do that because it's a great flight and you want to take the chance, we're all adults. I am just telling you what I know from my personal experience, what I know from traveling, and what I know from experts who have said, don't book with these third-party vendors because you're at their mercy. So I encourage you, if you're going to book with American, book with American. You're going to book with JetBlue, book with JetBlue, book with Delta. Go into their website and book directly with them. Get your confirmation number. Put your cell phone number in. Put your email address in so they can contact you. They will text you. They will email you. The other thing you can do. Oh, okay, let me say that. So, that's good to know. I'm going to repeat that. So if you book also with a third-party vendor, the airlines, Delta, American, JetBlue, if they've overbooked their flight, they will kick the third-party vendor people off first. That's good to know. So be mindful of all these things, right? You got to be mindful when you're booking that flight to New York, which is why we're encouraging people to go down on Sunday. So if you take a flight down on Sunday, and I know these, right, so turn to the next page. You'll see the cost of the flights right now that I have looked at. The American Airlines flight leaves out at 6:30 in the morning. The Delta flight leaves out at 7 a.m. The earlier the flight, the cheaper the cost. Are there flights later in the day? Absolutely. They are $600. If you want to leave at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to cost you $600. So you leave early in the morning. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
The question is, this cost is just for the 26th, this is not round trip, correct?
No, that's round trip.
So this 327 is round trip?
That's round trip. That's round trip fare. That takes you.
Because you don't identify it, so I thought that's one way.
No. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, it says a flight leaving Detroit on Sunday, February 26th and returning on Thursday, March the 9th. Yes, ma'am. There's a question online. Who's that from? Oh, that's the LL flight. So the LL flight is on the 27th. I'm talking about the New York flight. Did she book her New York flight already? Okay, tell her I'll call her. So that's why we're encouraging people to go down early. So we stay on task. We leave for Israel on Monday the 27th. So that's the flight you will see. We leave out at 5 p.m. on Monday the 27th going to Israel. Now, you absolutely have the option to fly in on Monday. That's what we did before. We didn't stay over, well, some of us stayed overnight, but the majority of the group flew in that same day and, spent a couple hours at the airport and then turned around and got on the plane and left. The only reason, yes, ma'am. That's my typo. Yep, that's my typo. Yes, the 27th. If I have the 26th in there, that we depart JFK on LL, that should be Monday the 27th. Which one are you looking at? Yes, that's wrong, sorry. That should be 27. Thank you for catching that. Yes, if you're gonna go down early, so let me say this. I am not asking anybody to spend extra money, because to go in early means you have to spend money on a hotel, even though I have worked out some group rates. When, you know, I don't want people to say, Regina just asking me to spend. I am just talking about what's going on right now that is beyond our control. What I would hate to have happen is people book their flights for Monday and they don't get there. Will you still come to Israel? Absolutely. Tony and I will get you on the next available flight out, which will probably be that night, either at midnight or Tuesday morning. You're going to miss the group. The group's going to go, and we're going to go. And I'll get you from the airport to wherever we are, but you will be flying by yourself or whomever else missed. There's nothing I can do about that. So I'm just talking about unforeseen circumstances at this time. We are just in unprecedented times with these cancellations. You guys see it on the news every day. 1,000 flights canceled, 200 flights canceled. So I am just trying to be proactive. Now, you had another question?
Yes, I have another question.
Yes.
Now, the price for the 327, you said, now, is this the current price or is this?
This is the current price as of yesterday.
Okay, so they still have available seats as of yesterday.
As of yesterday. So if you know anything about flights, today the flight is 327. Tomorrow the flight is 427. Today the flight is 500. Tomorrow the flight is 900. I have no control.
No, I know, the
Yep.
reason I'm asking is because when I leave here, I will be trying to book instead of
Yep.
waiting, so that's why I was just making sure that I was really understanding.
Yep.
This is currently.
That was current. Like I typed this, I think at 9 o'clock last night, which is probably why I had the typo. So that was the current price as of, 9 o'clock last night. No, I will help anybody book, right? If you give me your credit, all I need is your date of birth, your credit card number, your address. I already have your address. Date of birth, your credit card number, and we can go have a seat downstairs in the back, anywhere, administrative office, boardroom, and I will book. I do not mind booking for people. I've booked for lots of folks. I don't mind at all. Like I said, I think I booked almost all 50 last time we went. I think I booked almost everybody's flight. So I don't mind. But it's up to you. I'm just, my job is to give you this information. And so, as I said, these are the flights as of today, right? So that Delta flight, several of us booked that Delta flight, arriving at 7 and leaving out at that 1 o'clock. And right now it's 4:43. We booked it, I think it was like 3:23. And that was 3 weeks ago. And it's, I can't control it. I can't control it. And what naturally happens, if one person books, they're like, ooh, people are interested in this flight. There was nobody on that flight. That flight was completely empty when I booked the very first time. I think there are now like 4, 5, 6 people on that flight. And so when you book it, the airline says, oh, there's interest for it. Let me jack up the price. And it's so unfortunate. When I went to get the group rate for that same flight, it was $600 per person. The same flight. It's the airline industry is just very different right now. So I do apologize for that. This is not a headache that I could foresee, because I don't know there would have been anything I could have done about it, but I just couldn't foresee it. I just couldn't foresee this headache. I just couldn't see it. So these are the airlines that I have looked at. These are the prices. I have not looked at everything. I've only looked at some things, right? I haven't looked at every single airline out there. I haven't looked at Newark, LaGuardia, if you want to bear and you want to get on the shuttle and take your luggage and travel back and forth. I haven't done that. I've looked at going into JFK and leaving out of JFK. If you're savvy or you know some people who are savvy and you don't mind doing the whole shuttle thing, do what is best for you and your budget. I just want to make sure you guys have the information. The important thing to do to know, though, if you book your own flight, so there's that 7 a.m. flight, which I would love to get on. I thought about booking it for 2 minutes. There is no way we're going to make that flight. Even with global entry, you're just not going to make it. Like the Delta lady was like, no, you can't book that flight. There is not enough time to come through customs, grab your bag, go back through TSA, check your bag, and get to the gate. It is an hour. Because we basically land at 6 o'clock in the morning. And that flight, if that flight takes off at 7, those doors close at 10 minutes to 7. Your bag probably wouldn't even make it, right? Now you're out your luggage and all your trinkets from Israel, right? So the next available flight for Delta is at 12:55. That's a huge gap, right? We get back at 6 and we don't leave out until 12:55. There's lots to do. There's a tram that'll take you right into Manhattan for free. There's plenty of lounges in the area. There's plenty of restaurants. Put 2 chairs together, take a nap. It will be some downtime at the airport, which is unfortunate. We came back at the exact same time last time, and we got on a 10 o'clock flight. It was perfect. It was perfect. They're just not offering it. So be mindful of that when you book, that you don't book yourself on a flight that will not give you enough time to go through customs, get your luggage, go through TSA, check your luggage, and get to your gate. Be mindful of that. So American Airlines does have a 10:05 flight. It's like $500, but they got one. So again, it's your budget. All right, hotels in New York. If you're interested in going down early, I have booked some group rates. The best one was for the Hampton Inn. They do free breakfast. It's by Hilton. It's really nice. It's a nice Hampton Inn. All of these hotels have shuttles, so you can see the prices, they go up. Hampton Inn is $139. Spring Hill Suites is $179. The Hilton is $185. Courtyard Marriott is $239. Residence Inn is $249. This is a per room rate, not a per person rate. So if you're gonna bunk up with somebody, you guys split this cost. If 3 of y'all staying in a room together, you split it 3 ways. 4 of y'all staying in a room together, you split it 4 ways. It's just a per room rate. Fortunately, we're traveling together as a church, so the church is tax exempt. So this is the rate. This will be another thing if we decide to do the group rate. The money would have to come to the church because the church then will have to cut the check for it to be tax exempt. But we're traveling together and this is a church-led function. Okay, so we get that tax exemption. Doesn't work for the airport. All right, any questions about that? Yes, Judy? Yes, ma'am. So, because I have your information, I can check you in and pay your bag online if you want. There's always that option to pay your bag online. All right, any questions about the hotel? So, here's another part, always a wrinkle, always a twist. We arrive really early in New York, like, right, 9 o'clock in the morning or something. Check-in is what, 3 o'clock? So I'm negotiating with these people to let us check in early. Some are like, it's gonna be a $50 fee. I was like, no, we're not paying that. So I will do my best to negotiate early check-in. And then maybe if we go up one at a time and say, hey, is there a room available? Or maybe because it's 3 of y'all or 2 of you in a room, you'll say, I'll pay the $50, split it 2 ways, that's just $25 each to check into the room early. All right, any questions so far? Yes, ma'am. No, that's your decision. Absolutely, your decision, whether you want to fly Sunday or Monday. I can just tell you that, several of us are already flying down on Sunday, but it's your decision what works best for you. If you choose to fly down on Monday, there's some things you need to know. I thought I had it in here. Did I take it out? Okay, yep. Go back from the hotel page. Flight to New York. If you opt to fly into New York on your own on Monday, February 27th, you have to arrive no later than 1 o'clock. So you need to make sure you check flights that get you on the ground by 1 o'clock. The other thing, if you choose to fly on Monday, you must leave the secure area of the airport to go down to baggage claim and get your bag. You then cannot return to the terminal because you don't have a ticket, right? So there's one restaurant down there and a bathroom. That's it. So if you get in at 1, if you get in close to 1, it's not bad because you need to be upstairs by 2 o'clock anyway. So what will happen is you can go up to like the outside area of the terminal, like just before you go to TSA, but that's it. It's just like here at DTW. There's a place where you can't go beyond. You can't go to the restrooms, you can't go to the restaurants, you can't go to anything because you don't have a ticket. Because it's just one group ticket. So you're responsible for getting your bag. Now, if you come in really early in the morning, you decide to come down Monday morning and you want to come in early, say like 8 or 9 o'clock on Monday, there's a way for you to check your bag, pick up your bag from baggage claim. They have a check bag right there. You go secure your bag, then you can hop on the tram, go to Times Square, have lunch, breakfast, just make sure you're back by 1 o'clock. So that's the one thing if you fly in on Monday. You're going to be responsible for your bag and you cannot get back into that terminal because you don't have a boarding pass. Okay? So with respect to the hotel, I've asked them that we're working on it, and I've asked them to give me until the end of November before we book the hotel as a group, so I have a clear idea. Right now, I've told them I need somewhere between 10 and 15 rooms. But I've asked them all to extend the quote out until the end of November, until people come back and tell me, I'm flying in on Monday, I'm flying in on Sunday, we're interested in the group rate or we're not. So I've been very fortunate in talking to the managers at each of these hotels, and they understand our situation.
What time are we returning?
March 9th, we come back at 5:45 a.m. on Thursday, March 9th.
Thursday, March 9th.
Yep.
So we could leave New York, the round trip that we booked on the 9th or late.
Yeah, not late, just enough time, right? Enough time.
So it says 5:45 a.m. So okay, I got you.
So I would not book a flight coming back before 10 a.m. I mean, you might make a 9 a.m., you are not gonna make that 7 a.m. As much as I wanna make that 7 a.m. with everything I have, I thought about it. I mean, seriously, I thought about it. Caitlin was like, Mama, why are you just setting us up for failure? So I didn't book it. But you need to be mindful of that when you come back, of that time that it's gonna take to get through customs, get your bag, get through TSA, get to the gate. Any other questions before I move on? All right. Talked about the travel insurance, but I really want to touch on it. It's a separate $265. It really does protect you in the event of pre-existing conditions or COVID. If you cancel for any other reasons, it does not protect you from losing your cancellation fee. So right now, we're in the area of, if you cancel, there's a $250 fee from Tony. But if you cancel for, COVID-related reason or pre-existing condition, Tony will take that $250 fee, but you'll get it back from Allianz. So just be mindful of that. Your passports. Everybody should have their passport by now. If you don't, absolutely, positively must put a rush on it. They are way behind because of COVID, way behind. If your passport has expired, you're lucky that should come in quicker. But if it's the first time getting a passport, you really need to like step it up. These 5 months will go fast. Yes, ma'am.
What airport, JFK or LaGuardia?
JFK.
What's considered, pre-existing condition, what does that mean?
It's a condition that you've already had, your doctor is aware of it. You have medical documentation. So if you cancel for a medical reason, they just need a doctor's note. So you can go to your doctor and say, if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, arthritis, you gotta have surgery, you fall and, hurt your hip because I have sciatica. So if I have a sciatic situation, that's pre-existing, right? It's well documented in my medical records that that is a pre-existing condition. So
You just get sick, that's just tough.
it depends on what it is. If it's COVID, it's not tough. You get sick and you got COVID and you can't travel, you're completely covered.
And I'm just saying,
But if you get a bad flu,
if you just get sick, that's just, you're in trouble.
well, I don't know. I think we'll talk, right? So to me, stuff like that should be covered because everybody can get a really bad flu. To me, that's pre-existing. But we'll talk. We'll talk. Right now, the COVID protocol in Israel is completely lifted. Right now, there's no requirement to be vaccinated to get in or out, no requirement to wear masks indoors. We're going to ask that everyone wear a mask on the bus, and most of you all, I believe, are vaccinated, so we're going to ask for that too, just to protect everyone while we're on the bus. We are in very close quarters on the bus. We're going to be getting off, going back in, getting off, going back in. Now, once you get into the site, most are outdoors. You can take your mask off. If you go indoors in one of these off sites and you don't want to wear your mask, you don't have to. Just on the bus while we're traversing around, just to make sure everybody is protected. My daughter had a cold the very first time we went, and that cold went through the whole bus. Yep, we all ended up with a cold. So just be mindful of that. And I encourage everybody to bring your medication and bring cold medicine. Like, it didn't even dawn on me to take cold medicine to Israel. I now will bring cold medicine. We stopped, Muhammad stopped at a drugstore, got her something like Robitussin. It worked. It was great. But just be mindful of that. Make sure you bring all your medications and then pack things that, like for a cold or a sniffle or something like that. Just be mindful of that. All right, so I have handed out your travel tips. They're very important. You need one of these. Yes, ma'am. That's a great idea. And I will repeat that, make sure everybody heard you, Sister George, to encourage people to get their flu shot, get your flu vaccine. I think that's a great idea because it's supposed to be a bad flu season as well. You just want to make sure you're as protected from the flu and from COVID as you can be before we get on this 10-hour international flight. Okay, you will need one of these in Israel, or nothing that you have will work. It is a converter. I have an international converter. My converter works everywhere, Europe. Any place I go, this converter will work. I've had it for a very long time. Amazon. Amazon.
For the people that's not tech savvy, do we just put in the search engine, international converter? Because I don't know anything about it.
Yep, and you don't have to have an international one. You can just get one for Israel. That's probably going to be cheaper than the international one, right? So you just need a converter for Israel. So it can be. It'll stay on the package. Yep. It's these prongs. It's the fat prongs right here. This is the one for Israel. So you just put this one converter, you plug into the wall. Then you plug your strip. I encourage people to bring a power strip. I don't see one around. But you would then plug your power strip into this. It always seems like it's not gonna fit. You gotta give it a little shove to get it in there, and then you're good. So this is a surge protector, and then your power cord gives you surge protector. A lot of them also come with the ability to charge your phones on the side.
Where is there, your power strip is, where,
Yeah,
is that like a UPC deal? Rather than just, cause most power strips got just a regular plug.
some have the regular plug or the 3-prong, either or. So this works if it's just 2 or if it's 3. So either or. And you don't have to bring a power strip. You can just, switch out. You can just plug your phone up and then plug your shaver up or plug your blow dryer up. You don't have to bring the power strip. It's just a suggestion because it lets you use multiple things at the same time. Oh, yep. So I get everything on Amazon because I don't have a lot of time to go to the store, unfortunately. So, so you get that on Amazon? Not funny. Okay, people on TikTok. Okay. Kaylin just recently introduced me to TikTok. So your other things that you can't live without are your compression socks. I think you guys have heard Pastor Warfield say how the very first time he went to Israel, his feet were so swollen he couldn't get his shoes on. It's because he didn't have on any compression socks. You don't think they're working, but trust me, they work. You have to have them. You must have them. Keep in mind, this is an overnight flight. So when we get off, we're getting on the bus. We are not going directly to the hotel. We are hitting the ground running. So get some sleep on your flight, wear your compression socks, bring your toiletry kit, you brush your teeth, you can freshen up either on the plane or right there at the Tel Aviv airport. Ben Goren, something like that. Okay? So that's why I gave you those travel tips. Travel tips are great. They're pictures, they're everything on the travel tips. What you should pack, your shoes, yada, yada, yada. So be mindful of those travel tips. That's why I wanted you to have them early, because we've got 5 months, I think, right? Last couple things I want to touch on, the walking, right? So if you're not walking, you need to start walking. You really do. You need to put it into your daily routine. I can't emphasize enough the amount of walking we will be doing. Now, it won't feel like you're doing a lot of walking. You won't be overwhelmed by the walking because of the experience, but you could feel it later if you're not prepared. Okay? So I'm not saying walk as much as we will be walking, but I am saying you need to add walking to your daily routine, whether it's an hour, 45 minutes, hour and a half, whatever works for you. And I always have to start walking now because of my back. If I don't start walking now, I just have issues and problems when I get to Israel. So next week, I got all my junk food now. I'm not saying go on a diet or eat healthy, Pastor Warfield's sermon, Diet for the Lord. But I am saying that I plan to, I don't know how many people put on COVID weight, but I put on a lot. And I don't want to carry this while I'm trying to walk. So I plan to do some things differently in these next 5 months. But I do encourage you to get your body ready with the walking. That's all I'm going to encourage. I'm not saying diet or do anything like that. Be mindful about hydrating now so that you will hydrate then, and just be mindful of the walking. Just encourage you to put it in your daily routine somewhere. We will have scooters. I'm going to get the scooter sign-up list probably in December. Get that going for anybody who wants a scooter.
For the scooters, is there additional cost to them?
I haven't talked to Pastor Warfield about that yet, so I can't answer that question, but I'll have an answer for you soon.
But if you already know that you need one, can we give you our name?
Just send me an email. Send me an email. I know of 2 people already who want scooters, so 3. But still send me an email just confirming. Because I saw your hand, I know you want a scooter, but by the time I get to my car, it's going to be gone. It is. Teaching in Israel. If you are interested in teaching at one of the Holy Land sites, please let Pastor Warfield know, and let him know like now. Give him a call, text message, talk to him at church, because he's going to start working with you all, with the folks who will be teaching at the site soon. We usually get together, and Pastor Warfield does amazing teachings before we go on our pilgrimage. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about the dates yet, so I just put it in there as a bookmark. But we will set up some dates where we will meet, usually like once a week. We'll meet in the Stotts Fellowship Hall, and we'll just go through some teachings about the importance of this spiritual journey. And that's all I have. I know it's a lot. Every time I meet with y'all, I know it feels like I'm just over giving y'all a ton of information, but I want y'all to make sure y'all have all the information, and I want you to make sure you have all your questions answered. Again, I encourage you, if you have a question, if you need to talk to me, email me, text me, call me. I will be totally honest. I am super busy at work, but I assure you I will get back to you. I will. So if I don't text you right away, it's because I'm in court or something, but I always will follow up. I will get back to you. As I have changing information, I blast it out. If I send you an email at midnight or something, sorry about that. I got to blast it when I can. But I will blast out the email when I have information. Okay? That's all I have. Anybody have any questions? Oh, two more things. So I'm gonna send Tony, anybody who's giving me payments, the payment will not go out until the end of October because he's in Greece. And then the same thing in December. The payment will go out at the end of December. So I will take your payments. So if you're giving me a check and you're one of those people who like, I need this money out of my account, you might want to consider doing a cashier's check or a money order. Because understand that money is not going to go to him right away. I'm holding it. You'll get your receipt. It'll be credited to you, but it's not going to Tony until the end of this month. And then the next check, the end of December. And then the final payments, if anybody still has any final payments due in January, that final check will go to him in January. Okay? All right, no questions. I'm around. Thank you guys so much. Nothing online? Okay. Thank you so much.